Episode 6, No Hipsters Pod. It's your boy Ron Say, the founder of NoHipstersAllowed.com. Today, our co-host is a friend and fellow pop culture fiend, Teresa, aka Reese Rich.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am your biggest fan.
Oh.
I do love the podcast though, and the blog. I work in government relations. I've studied political management and worked in political campaigns as well as in nonprofits for the past few years. And I am glad to finally get to be on your show.
Oh, thank you. Glad to have you here. You're the best person to have because some political stuff happened this week. So we'll get to that later. But yeah. But, the first things first, though, is Yaya Mayweather, daughter of Floyd Mayweather, did something stupid this past week, and that must be discussed first. So, Yaya Mayweather, who's Floyd's daughter and who dates that one rapper, NBA YoungBoy, NBA YoungBoy, who speaks in cursive. I don't even know what the hell is going on with that guy. But anyways, so she's dating NBA YoungBoy, and apparently went to his house in Houston, and he had one of the mothers of his kids there, and Yaya got into a fight with the girl and was supposedly getting her ass beat, and so stabbed her twice. And so now she's looking at many years in prison. Luckily, the woman she stabbed is alive and isn't, I guess, critically. I don't know how bad her injuries were, but she's fine. She was fine enough to post on Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what happened. What's your take on that?
Well, her daddy should have taught her to fight. That's first. That's number one.
That's A,
money,
right?
Yeah.
right.
If that was Money Mayweather, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Right.
She's young, so there is so much life that's about to be taken from her, and I can just imagine where she is in terms of being in love or thinking that she's in love.
Right. Because this is a kid who, he's barely 20 years old and has 4, different babies' mothers, as they say.
Yeah.
And, I'm not sure.
I think that with the situation, from what I understand, doesn't he have an STD?
Well, I almost didn't want to go there. He reportedly has herpes, and I
don't work at his doctor's office, so
right, exactly,
violating HIPAA.
Right.
I think it was reported that one of his baby mothers had said that he gave her herpes or something.
Right.
So it really just seems like this is a kid who has a lot of troubles of his own.
Right.
And she's young and he's young. They're both malleable, honestly.
Right.
And coming from painful, hurtful places, because the Mayweather family has gone through a lot.
True.
The past 2 years, 3 years, I think.
Right.
I think one of Floyd's baby mothers actually died recently.
Yes, that did happen, as well as did his uncle. So
they've already gone through enough where sometimes you'll have a rebellious younger child in your family that slips under the radar, but she definitely is crying out in need of somebody to actually show her what love is and what she's supposed to do or can do in these situations in order to protect herself and to make sure that she's not put into these positions, because it's not the first time that he's been put into the spotlight because of baby mama drama.
Right.
So I really, really hope that she is able to bounce back from it, learn from it, and honestly put herself in a better position than where she thinks she needs to be.
Yeah, it's just...
Are they engaged? Is that
I believe they might be. I'm not even sure. But whatever the case, it just feels like this kid has already been in the news for, mistreating his ex girl. And that's recent enough news where I feel like, why would just a girl who's, who cares about herself, but really just a girl who I would think has options. Like her dad's a millionaire. Like, I mean, she doesn't need him to like get out of like, poverty or something.
And I will also say this. He went on a rant about him not needing anything from her.
You talking about my wife? Inside my house that I paid for? Now her bitch ass daddy, nigga? Huh? And now her bitch ass daddy? I ain't never accepted not one thing from her in my life. Why? Because y'all be playing on me, bitch.
Or not really needing anything from
her bitch ass daddy, as he said. With her.
Yeah, and that was the part that confused me the most, because I didn't understand who said that.
Right.
Like,
what's right? Who said that?
Who said that? Like, who said that you needed her bitch ass daddy? I was like, where did her bitch ass daddy come into the equation?
Right. I mean, clearly he must have read that in the comment section somewhere and that is taking it to heart. But it's just like, what's
I don't know
going on here?
That became a trigger point, but I think that also was somebody who rose to notoriety in my eyes so quickly, because I had no idea who this kid was, and then he popped up out of nowhere.
No, I really do. I really honestly consider him to be a shade room, creation, because that's where I discovered this kid. And it's just like, I mean, he does have some songs. He's actually not a terrible rapper. I mean, I've heard worse rappers, but it's like this kid is just always like just in one thing or the other. He's really good for like punching a fan in the face.
Yeah, so the tweens created him. I truly believe that the tweens probably created him. They loved his music, latched onto it, and whatever he's doing for attention to please his fans or to respond to the people who he engages with, it makes sense.
Yeah, and
unfortunately, the Shade Room does promote a lot of just atrocious behavior from people.
Yeah.
So I mean, if that's how you rose to stardom, you got to kind of give the people what they want.
Right. That's fair. But it's just it's just sad to see that this girl is really about to go to jail for a long time. There has to be a point where you kind of draw the line between silly social media shenanigans and like actual crime. And unfortunately, not only did she cross that line, but she went really far. Like, this is not like an assault case. Like, this girl could be going away for like a decade, and it's really sad to see, but we'll see.
I do think in these situations, just from what we've seen in the past, a lot of times there is a little bit more leniency for those that tend to have a little bit more bread to throw.
Right, for sure.
I do think that, of course, because the baby mama actually decided to call the police, and all of that happened. And of course, I think he gave like a statement or whatever had happened, that they will have to go ahead and proceed with court hearings. However, I don't think it's gonna break her. I pray it doesn't break her, and that it's just something that she ends up just learning from, in situation that she ends up getting out of. Because I know that when you're in this cycle of violence where you've watched it happen to a parent or a loved one, you start thinking that situations like this are normal.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Changing gears a bit. So, in the last 24 to 48 hours, some craziness has happened in the R&B world, courtesy of The Weeknd. So he gave an interview to Variety magazine, and he's talking all this shit about, changing the game, which I think is, bit of a stretch, but he says he changed the game, and his sound was all this and all that. And then he goes on to say that when he first heard Usher's Climax, he thought that, this sounds like me. And at first he was upset, and then became flattered. Now, as you can imagine, the entire internet dragged him, as they should have.
Yeah.
Of which I was among said draggers. And then today, early today actually, Diplo, who co-produced Climax, made a few tweets that essentially co-signed The Weeknd. He doesn't like outright say that The Weeknd was the direct influence, but he says that he was influenced by the moody alternative R&B sound of the time, and that The Weeknd was, I guess, key in ushering, no pun intended, that new sound into popular music. So what's your take on that?
I think he could have just sat there and ate his food. Because to be 1,000% honest, you have an artist that has solidified themselves in their, not just their genre, but just like in the industry.
Yeah.
Like there's people across different genres that recognize Usher as a performer, as a
vocalist. I mean, come on.
And so to actually even state that someone that obviously is not even from a generation in which Usher was even introduced,
right,
it's basically stating that Usher needed them in order to have this huge song, because Climax is not one of his smaller ballads that went unheard.
Right.
This song did numbers.
Right. He won a Grammy for that one.
Yeah.
And
I find that just extremely disrespectful, and that Diplo trying to now come and create a way in which
he kind of gets credence. Yeah, like he gets credence.
I feel like he was doing Abel a favor.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And I mean, that's not uncommon in the industry.
Yeah.
Help your friend out. He put his foot in his mouth. Right. And now it just kind of sounds like he's backtracking, because the last I read on it, he had said that it was the production he was referring to rather than the actual sound.
Huh.
So he wasn't necessarily saying that vocally Usher is trying to steal his sound, that, the production of it was specifically The Weeknd sound.
Right. I mean, I always thought he was referring to the production, because, I mean, vocally, he's not really in the same ballpark with Usher. So
I thought it was vocally, and I almost thought it, because I was about to say, wait,
well, I mean, I feel like I can sing better than The Weeknd, so it's like, why would he go there? But
Usher's last tweet actually was hilarious.
Yeah, I saw that one. The one about the moon, like, not barking at the dog.
Oh yeah, yeah. Somebody saying the moon not barking at the dog is literally the equivalent of them saying wolves don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep.
Right, facts.
You think I sound like you?
Right. It's just so crazy. And then he also went on Instagram and like give like an a cappella performance of Climax. And I thought that was just so appropriate, because like at the end of the day, Usher could sing anything in The Weeknd's discography, and I'm not sure we can say the same vice versa. And so,
right. Yeah, no, Usher, definitely hats off to him. I think also he was just a great sport about it.
Really great sport.
Situations like this happen. Artists tend to take it so offensively because they're artists and they're sensitive about their shit.
Right.
And so essentially he's taking it kind of as, okay, this is what you think. Let's all get on here and sing my song. Get me more of my spins.
Right.
Let it be what it is. Let it be what it is.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think what The Weeknd did just speaks to just a general audaciousness about this new like cohort of R&B singers. And if we can call them singers, because half of them can't really sing, because it kind of reminds me of Jacquees about a year ago calling himself the king of R&B. No, really. I mean, we laugh now, but it's really quite outrageous for someone who is really so untalented, but also so unaccomplished to like jump out the window in that way. And The Weeknd really, he tried it.
I feel like it's become a marketing strategy. More so now, as we specifically started to shift the music industry into more of, what are people saying online? How many plays are your songs getting?
How many impressions are you getting on social media, which apparently is a big deal these days?
Huge, but it's not equivalent to whether or not you can sing.
Right.
You can get 1 million views. That don't mean you can sing.
Right.
But now starting a conversation around whether or not people actually think you're the king or not gets you those plays and those spins that get you the money. And I mean, if you're anything like Waka Flocka, then maybe you just want your money. You really don't want the title. So, hey, if you went and you listened to it and you said I was garbage, that's cool. I got my check.
Right.
So.
It's just... kids nowadays.
And I actually do like The Weeknd's music.
Same, actually, and that's why I've always found him definitely questionable as a vocalist. I don't think he's a great singer, but I do think he has songs that are nice. I Feel It Coming is one of my favorite, and he has a few others that are just really, really good, as well as the 50 Shades of Grey song, whatever it was called.
Yes.
And so
that was what actually had opened me up to his music more.
Right. So he has some good tracks in there, but it's just he's not that great of a singer, and I think he's definitely a classic case of an artist who tries to sell themselves on mystique primarily as opposed to talent. I think it's supposed to be the whole idea, I'm just so mysterious, and that's what makes me so great. But really, he's not that. Once you get to the grunt of it, he's not that good. And he's not the first to do it. I think there have been so many artists, Bob Dylan, Sade even does Adele. Yeah. Adele does that to a degree as well. But The Weeknd, much like Bob Dylan, just doesn't have the talent to back it up. So, yeah.
I agree. I think that The Weeknd definitely jumped out there.
Yeah.
But good for him.
Right.
Jumping out there and getting his record spin.
Yeah. He has the number one.
Lucky enough, he has people on his side like Diplo.
He does, and he has all these kids born in '99, all caping for him on Twitter. So there's that. Changing gears. So as you know, Swiss Beats and Timbaland have been putting together quality content for all of us.
Yes.
And we were supposed to get what was the main event, which was a battle of Babyface versus Teddy Riley, until Teddy Riley decided to become too money hungry and essentially try to get people to pay to watch him battle Babyface. Now, I'm going to say that I've never really believed that Babyface was ever going to do this, because the whole thing just seems just so not his style. And I feel like he's almost too big for this type of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But
also, Teddy Riley is Teddy Riley.
Yeah, Teddy Riley is Teddy Riley, but
let's not take away from Teddy Riley.
Of course not. He's definitely a legend, but he ain't no Babyface.
Right. Oh, no.
Yeah.
And I think that they definitely have two completely different business styles. Even when you look at a lot of Babyface's career as not just a songwriter, producer, but just as a musician.
Right.
Very rarely and hardly ever did it really seem like he cared much about making money rather than producing very good music that he can stand behind.
Right.
A lot of his older interviews, he's very locked in terms of just creating.
Yeah.
So this whole entire spiel of Teddy Riley jumping on and out saying, well, this is how things are going to get done. Oh, you know what? Babyface would never.
Right.
He would have never jumped on Instagram to tell people that, we're going to do it, but you got to go through a link.
Right, because I feel like Instagram was bad enough, but now you want him to get on your platform. It was just... And how much money were they really going to make from the whole thing? Which is why I just think it was a bit of a miscalculation on Teddy's part, because, you're trying to, make money for yourself, which I get it. You're going to be playing your music, but... But that's not what this was. And I feel like that's what happens whenever you let old people do something that is not really for their generation. no offense for boomers out there. Right.
Aunties listening. But when someone introduces you to a new technology and you decide that this is what you're going to do with it, all of a sudden, we wish we never introduced you to it. All of a sudden, I wish I could have your Instagram disabled because nobody else did this shit but you. Everybody was having fun, and then you came and decided, okay, well, these are the rules. And
it was just, he came a little too hot. He could have just...
Way too hot, but he's from a different generation. So I also give him the benefit of the doubt of his generation.
You know what? I'm not even going to put that on his generation. I feel like he just kind of was going a little too directly for the end goal. And I think what he should have done was promote his platform during the live show, because first of all, you're going to get a larger audience if it's free. Yeah. So you now get to promote it to a larger amount of people as opposed to getting 5,000 people to pay, or maybe 10,000, or even if it was 50,000. At the end of the day,
if he would have taken the same route that Lil Jon took of I'm going to just play my new tracks and let you guys preview new tracks. And then on my page, I'm going to let you know where you can go and actually hear them when they're actually released. That makes more sense.
So much smarter.
It does not feel like you're trapping your consumers into actually paying for a service that they may or may not want or may not like.
Right.
So it's very much of a, I'm doing something for you. And if you happen to like it,
and there you go. Like,
because no one wants to be tricked into buying anything, and that's more business. God, let me know what I'm buying. I might actually just want to spend the money. I might have wanted to actually spend money on a subscription to Teddy Riley's platform,
but I would have liked the option and even to kind of decide if I want that or not.
Exactly. Even Tidal lets you join for free at first.
I feel like what Teddy has done is not only just turn people off from the whole thing, but he's not in the press all the time. Mm-hmm. And so unfortunately for a lot of people who don't even know him that well, this is all they're going to remember him for. Like, the weird uncle who used to be famous and who came to ruin the fun we're having during the quarantine days.
So with the younger generation, I feel like the younger generation would recognize Nia Riley before they recognize Teddy Riley,
which is just highly unfortunate.
Yes, it is.
But it's probably the truth.
Yes. But I do also feel like, this is something that he can bounce back from. And Teddy Riley is not necessarily coming back for a full resurgence. It seems like he just is really trying to continue his career with the crowd that he already has. And now a newer crowd is kind of tapped in, and they're not paying for that.
Not at all. Changing gears very drastically, Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee at this point. Bernie Sanders dropped out of the Democratic primary earlier this week, and so now we no longer have to worry. I don't think people outside of DC will get that one, but that was funny. But yeah, so Biden's the nominee, and of course there's already conversation about who his VP should be. You already know who I think it should be. Who you got?
So I don't really like to commit too early.
You can change your mind whenever.
But I got Harris. My money's on Harris, and my money has been on Harris since before she dropped out.
Oh, really? Which is kind of sad. I feel like a lot of people thought she was running for VP from the start, which I think,
it is wholly possible. It is absolutely totally possible that she may have been.
Okay.
But that's just me thinking more so in terms of campaign strategy. I know a lot of people are thinking more in terms of what's right for the country and in terms of like who's the most qualified candidate, which as a constituent, you absolutely should be considering what her platform is, what she's able to actually contribute and provide. But in the real world, realistically, there's an entire team of people behind her that planned out every single step. And if this messes up, this is the contingency, and this is where we're going with this. And so I don't think that anything is done on accident. I think that her entering the race for presidency first, during Black History Month?
Like right before, I think it was like MLK Day. She announced.
Yes, actually, it was. All of it had been planned years in advance, and I think that her withdrawing early. It's normal for candidates to withdraw once they feel as though they cannot win.
But she was early. She was super early.
She was not at a point where she could not win. Right. In my opinion, there was still a chance that she could win. However, timing is important when it comes to selecting a VP. So her entering early and withdrawing early, to me, were just kind of already, these are signs that this is where this is going. Pictures circulating of them together, and their known friendship on the Hill. They've worked together. It's literally the equivalent of your best friend is trying out for the basketball team, and you've been on the basketball team already for a year.
Right.
You're both trying out for the same position, sure. Right. But like, you're going to make sure that your homeboy gets on the team with you, so that way you have somebody on your side. And I feel like Joe Biden was already somebody that would be on her side, but Joe Biden was not somebody necessarily that would take a back seat to her.
Yeah.
And she's got to think about her legacy.
True.
People think about themselves when they think about these presidential candidates and elections. So they think more so about how is this candidate going to directly impact my life in the next 4 years. But after those 4 years, then what does she do? Like, she's very young. A lot of the opponents that she was running against, and a lot of the ones, of course, that were in the end, Bernie and Uncle Joe,
right,
are older. So
yeah, listen, if she
out
right
years of a legacy.
Right. If she ran again in 20 years, she'd still be younger than both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has so much time. And, I mean, I would hope she'll be the nominee this year. I'll take VP for her. And,
a lot of people are trying to knock her to AG, which doesn't make any sense to me, just from
agreed.
a lot of the campaigns that I've had to study. It just, like, it makes sense to you because, oh yeah, she is a great lawyer and what she's been able to accomplish so far. However, that's not necessarily the next step that she has in sight. Her sight was, I want to be in a certain position in which I can become president. It's possible for her to become president as a VP, whereas, kind of serving as an AG it peaks it for her, I feel like.
Yeah, it could. I mean, unless you're like a Hillary who was already Hillary Clinton before she was a non-VP cabinet member.
Yes, that's very true. That is very true. But I feel like the Clintons are a special case.
Yeah.
They are Washington, D.C.
Right, an institution unto themselves. All right. So, here's to Kamala hoping she's actually the VP.
Yes.
Mariah Carey's The Emancipation of Mimi turns 15 years old this weekend. There's a lot to talk about it on Twitter for a lot of people.
That was a bomb album.
Oh, yeah. I had a feeling you would like it. So, it turns 15 this weekend. I think that album, not only was it good, but people don't remember just how just down Mariah was before that happened and how, like, she still kind of shake the whole glitter stigma off 3-4 years after the fact, and how it really kind of changed her career, and she made history with that album. And so it's amazing that's been 15 years already. But and I
don't think people give her enough credit as being a pioneer in just taking more control of what image and what you want to present for yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because her talent, of course, was just tremendous. So there was, of course, a point where there was a lot of people controlling and moving where she was and what she was doing. And I specifically remember interviews from her that really shook me because she specifically stated that they wanted this like pop, almost like a Britney Spears type of aesthetic for her. And here she was saying that she wanted Old Dirty Bastard on a song.
Right. I mean, it was actually more of like a Celine Dion aesthetic they wanted for her.
Yes.
And they were very intentional in not like being very direct about her being, mixed or this or that. Mm-hmm. And so, it really, I think her life story is interesting. I think her career is really interesting. What her biopic eventually made is probably one of the best ever done. And I think that she's definitely been a victim of like a lot of the weird, quirks of the music industry. Like, oftentimes when people ask me why my blog and my podcast are named No Hipsters Allowed, I tell people that, it really has to do with like the way the industry has a way of kind of like, maligning certain artists, which are usually female, and they're usually women who are, young and pretty and aren't like, they're not trying to be mysterious in any way. They're just making good music and they're making songs that are accessible to the masses. And they're often told that their music isn't quality because it's either not sad enough or maybe the artist is not unattractive enough to make the music seem, heavy and thick. And so I think, she's been a victim of that. And also Beyonce more recently is another victim of that, weird way of thinking about music and what artists should be
able to sing what tunes.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think Beyonce actually plays into that whole idea. I feel like sometimes she tries to go really dark because she thinks that's what the critics want to see. But yeah.
Huh.
I see all that to say, Emancipation Mimi. Happy 15th birthday.
Happy birthday, Mimi. I'm going to play that track. I'm going to play that album as soon as I that album got me through so much. And it was great all the way through. It's a no-skip album, I feel like.
Oh, okay. No skip. I don't know if I'll go that far, but it's a really good album.
I'd say no skip.
Okay.
I played Emancipation of Mimi well after it came out.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it was a good one. It's definitely one of her stronger showings. Real quick, what's your favorite song from that album?
Shake It Off.
See, you know what? We're right here. We're right here. That's my pick as well. So, winners and losers. Teresa, since you're the guest host, I'll let you go first. Who's your winner and loser of the week? Of course, I do my best.
I would say should I do the winner first?
I see, it's funny. Everyone does it either way, and I haven't really made any rules around it, so just do what feels right.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the winner.
Mm-hmm.
So the winners for me would definitely be the forgotten leaders of the COVID-19 battle going on right now. And I mean, of course, a lot of people are doing the Mayor Bowser clap to healthcare workers, governors, local legislators, but a lot of the front line that are forgotten about are your gas station attendants, your delivery workers, your restaurant workers, your grocery store workers. And a lot of people are saying that, they're heroes. And a mom actually had commented saying that she is tired of her daughter being called a hero. Her daughter is 19. And truthfully, she is a political sacrifice because if she contracts anything, then, these aren't people who are working a livable wage, who aren't guaranteed disaster pay afterwards, or they're not guaranteed paid health care or even the mental health benefits that which they truly deserve. So they are truly my very best this week. If you happen to see an essential worker that is not getting their hats off, please buy them some lunch or, something, because it's not just the healthcare workers and the local legislators that need the hats off.
Okay, yeah. Just before you go to your losers, I just want to say I'm happy you made that point, because I'm kind of over all the patronizing, praise that we give to these people who are risking their lives. And the U.S. isn't this isn't unique to D.C. or anywhere in the United States. The U.K. has been doing a weekly clap for the NHS, and I guess their system is better as well. It's better because people do have health care over there, and and they're better prepared. And I guess the workers have all. They don't have it
patronizing.
It's not as pretty, but over here, it's give me a break. A lot of these people,
we're applauding them, and we're like, you go get your $15 an hour, girl.
Right.
You're gonna be able to pay Sprint next.
Right, and I saw.
Keep going to Safeway, girl.
Right.
You might catch it, but if you don't, we'll celebrate.
Right. I actually saw this sign that goes, please don't make a martyr out of me. I'm not doing this by choice or whatever. Something to that effect. And I thought that was really, perfect, because these people are being made heroes not really by choice. They're not really trying to risk their lives like that. They're risking their lives because you guys have not provided them with the masks that they need. And now, doctors are dying left, right, and center. And all we have for them are claps. And it shouldn't be that way.
And there's definitely a conversation that needs to be created around post COVID-19, how those people will be better protected in case we ever come against something like this, because it's not something that we couldn't have prepared for. In fact, Obama told us in an interview in 2014 that we needed to prepare for in case something happened like the Spanish flu. And here we are. So, hats off to the forgotten leaders, and, definitely feel as though a lot of our local legislators and our president need to do a lot more to protect everyone. My worst,
your loser of the week,
would be the Bernie Bros.
Ooh.
Sorry, y'all. Those are some of my friends. But I will say, no one has died. Whatever you're mourning is genuinely why it's difficult to support your candidate. And it's not that Bernie does not have great ideas regarding healthcare, student loan debt, any other crises that are currently evolving around this burning world. It's the fact that literally every Bernie supporter in this past week has acted as if him stepping down from the race essentially equates into him not being able to still be impactful. And I don't get that. I feel like that is the worst way to kind of go about this whole entire shift. And all you're doing is you're making Simone Sanders laugh at you. You're making Simone and Dr. Jill, all those people who fought on the front lines,
right,
because they want to work with you, and you're essentially deciding that that's just not possible. I feel like that's the worst. A sore loser is always going to be the worst. I really want all of my Bernie bro friends to,
do better.
Yeah. Because it's not that we can't work together like you stated. It's us together in November. It's just the fact that, okay, when your loss comes, that this is how you handle those losses, and that isn't necessarily the best way to present your candidate to somebody.
Yeah.
You can't lose. You have to actually learn how to deal with those losses in order for you to actually know how to pivot and work in politics, because this is not his first loss. This is not his first rodeo.
Clearly. I mean, it really feels like this is the conclusion of like the 2016 primary, because I don't feel like Bernie ever stopped running. Mm-hmm. So it's been a very, very long couple years.
You know what? That is funny. I'm not gonna say that he continued running.
But he did.
I genuinely felt as though there was a shift for him to actually just be a larger impact on the Democratic Party as a whole, because a lot of people questioned whether or not he actually was for the party. But here we are 4 years later, and essentially all those people who are Democrats and who were supporting him are all doing the same thing they were doing before. They're now stating, well, I'm not going to vote for somebody that is senile and has dementia, and
it's almost like we learned nothing from 2016, and I honestly I'm just I'm saying every prayer for America.
So. I think that given the current landscape of dealing with an actual pandemic and a crashing economy, a burning earth. So we have enough on our plate in order to actually present to people the fact that we don't have the ability to not vote. Like there's no way that you can just say I'm just not going to vote because I'm that upset. Like, how long are you going to mourn the death of President Bernie Sanders before you actually decide to do something that can help yourself and your direct community? Because the things that are happening currently require you to participate. So it's my burn bro friends that I really feel like, you know what, this was a tough week for you, and
but it's time to wear your big boy panties, right?
I really hope that you figure out what role in which you're going to play the remainder of this race. But now going online and retweeting all of the dementia claims so everybody else can be just as upset as you, isn't necessarily the best bounce back.
Not at all. All right. So my winner for the week has to be Jordan Woods, who was revealed as a kangaroo on The Masked Singer this week.
Oh, I love Jordy.
Yeah, same. And, honestly, first of all, who knew she could sing?
I did.
And I had no idea. And if this is like the launch of a singing career, like she needs to like give everyone on her team a raise, because they're just the marketing is just so brilliant.
It's her mom. Her mother is an entire Kris Jenner without a television show. A lot of people don't know that, but I knew that a few years back when someone who had worked with her son had told me that the mom manages all of the kids. Yeah. So her mother actually is the one who is their manager, and she has been legally their manager for a number of years. And she's also done it for other people. And her husband, or I guess Jordan's dad, was
on Fresh Prince, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. So she has the resources to really tap into her talents and to really shine. And, you know, I really think it's Elizabeth Woods. I think Elizabeth Woods is really trying to make sure that, you know, Kris Jenner knows there's a
right.
there's a new sheriff in town.
Apparently, I love it. All right, and my loser of the week, and this is really a tough one because there are lots of, you know, boneheaded behavior this week, but I'm just going to have to give it to The Weeknd. I think the interview with Variety magazine was a really tragic mixture of cocaine and egomania. But really, I just think that it was just such a unnecessary thing to say, and I think we're only here because he got a lot of undue, you know, praise too early in his career. And I think too many people have credited him for changing the landscape of popular music, which I think is a big overstatement. The Weeknd can barely sing, and most of his songs are really just, you know, cheap Michael Jackson and The Dream imitations, and he has no right.
Yeah, I do see that. The Michael Jackson and The Dream. Also, I love The Dream, but
yeah, right.
But yeah, I do see that, and I do think that yes, the ego got in the way.
Yeah,
not a good week for him.
All right, Teresa, thank you so much for stopping by. You know, it's a pleasure. For everyone listening, I think I mentioned this in the last episode. The Instagram page is currently on hiatus because Instagram doesn't want to see us win. So in the interim, you can check nohipsters.blog on Instagram till we get the regular page back. And of course, the website is nohipstersallowed.com. Teresa, go ahead and plug your social media.
Okay. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at REESIE_RICH. That's Reese_Rich. And on Facebook too, but just under my actual name. So you can search Teresa and just say hey.
Love it. Thank you so much. Episode 6, No Hipsters Pod.
Bye.
See you next time. Bye.